All right. Well, let's put it in drive, see how far we get.
Let's do it.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Road Noise. I'm sure glad you've joined us, and just a joy for Dad and I to sit down and share these stories with you. And we're trying something a little different this time around. We'll see how well it goes, but our intent here is to capture this on video, our Zoom
Yeah.
conversation, and then share that out on YouTube and Facebook and the like. And it'll be the same thing as you're getting in the audio version of the podcast, but this will just change up the delivery a little bit. But the storytelling will remain the same. Our sharing conversations and reflecting on the past and just how the lessons that God has been teaching all along the way and the faithfulness that He's demonstrated all along the way as well. So here we are. We're gonna
Hey, the better to see you with.
Yeah, the better to see you with. And we're just a couple episodes into season 6 now, and we're changing pace a little bit. This last couple episodes, well, this season, we'll just say, has been we're bouncing all over the timeline, which is kind of fun because this is going to be a little bit different than the previous 5 seasons, which has been pretty chronological. And now we're in just kind of the big stretch where the ministry is the stories themselves are hard to put in chronological order. And for the most part, there's the value is in just the story that Dad captured, not necessarily the timeline anymore. So I'm excited about this because in some of these conversations, I'm hearing things for the first time as well, which is fun for me. But well, Dad, as we jump in tonight, where are you taking us?
Well, yeah, there's lots of stories, hundreds of churches, and to try to put all those in chronological order now, years after the fact would be difficult, if not impossible. And so this one is one that happened relatively early in our ministry with the Puppet Prospectors. Um, we've been to a lot of places. And what's really kind of fun is we've been to lots of places several times. And this is kind of one of those instances where we were in a particular town and then we're going to be back to that town. But let me kind of lay a little groundwork first. Doing things with puppets, even though I've always said that kids come in all ages, typically people think of a puppet ministry as something for kids. And I get that, and I don't have a problem with that. And so over the years, we have done a lot of programs for kids. And churches have, kids programs typically on Sunday, Sunday school, junior church, that type of thing. But a lot of churches have midweek opportunities to minister to kids and use a variety of different curriculums, if we want to call it that. But with the background that we've been in for, pretty strong for many years, the Awana program is one that is widely used. It's widely used in Baptist churches and Bible churches, and really any church can have an Awana program as long as they agree to the doctrinal statement of Awana. And so it is used a lot. And so we were at this particular town at a Bible church, and in the middle of the week, did a program for their Awana kids. Well, actually, it was one of those nights where they were encouraged to bring their parents. And so it was everybody. And of course, you have all the Awana leaders that are adults. And so on this particular night in the middle of the week, the church was pretty full, with the regular Awana kids and then their parents and so forth. And so what a blessing it was just to be able to share the gospel with this church full of people that night. Well, it was just 1 month later that we're back, same town, middle of the week, but this time at a Baptist church for their Awana program. And it was, like I said, it was just a month later, so a similar time of the year. And parents were invited, and so we had a full house there. And so just a great time sharing the gospel. Well, another month went by, and this time we're at a church about an hour south of the same town. And we're there on a Sunday morning. And we did Sunday school. And typically in churches, Sunday school is just prior to the morning service. And so we did the Sunday school program, and that was for everybody in the main auditorium. And so our puppet stage is all set up there. And again, well attended with adults and kids. But there's really not enough time in between Sunday school and the morning service for us to tear everything down and get it all packed up and, clear the stage, the platform for the morning service. And so our puppet stage is still setting up, and we are not doing anything for the morning service. They've got a guest speaker. Okay. And for us, it's always a blessing to be able to sit and be ministered to. I mean, it's one thing to be out there, sharing your heart out, day after day, week after week, year after year. But, and I get it. No one else is responsible for my spiritual growth. I'm responsible for that. And that's why I need to be in God's word. But still, it's nice to sit under the ministry of other people that are teaching God's word. And so they've got a guest speaker this Sunday. And so I'm kind of looking forward to this. And they introduced this guy as a missionary. He's a home missionary. And so he gets up there and shares his vision and what he feels God has called him to do. Well, I thought it was kind of interesting when he said that he felt God had called him to start a church in this town about an hour north. And he listed the town. And the reason he said he needs to start a church there is because there was, quote, no fundamental work in the area. I'm saying, what? No fundamental work in this town? Within the past 2 months, I've been to this town. I've done programs in 2 different churches, a Bible church and a Baptist church, and, for their Awana kids. And you can't have an Awana program if you're not pretty fundamental.
Yep.
And here you are telling this congregation that there's not a fundamental work going on in this town and you need to start another church. I'm thinking, oh my, oh my, oh my. I've got to keep my mouth shut here, but these people need to know that there are a couple other churches in that town that are sharing the gospel. They are reaching people. And I don't know if I should say this, but personally, I'm not sure that town needs another church. I guess really what this guy was saying is there's not a church in that town that has a label like I'm going to give it. And unless the church has a label like I would give it, they're not a fundamental work. I can't help but think that maybe that breaks God's heart. I don't know whatever happened. I don't, I'll tell you this, if this guy did start a church there, I've never been invited to it, but maybe he wasn't too impressed with what he saw in Sunday school. Maybe that's the reason. And I'm sure that I probably don't fit his brand anyway. But nevertheless, that reminded me of a verse in the Bible, John 13:35. They will know that you're Christians by the brand over the door. Let's start a church. Oh, wait. I'm bad. I'm not sure that's the way it goes. Maybe it was something along the line, by this, all men will know that you're my disciples because of your love one for another.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's the way that verse goes. Do we really need to start another church? Heard a pastor say one time, the problem in America is that there are too many churches. If you don't like something at the church you're going to, you can leave because there's another church real close by and you're welcome to go there. If there weren't so many churches, we might have to just stick around and try to work it out with our brothers and sisters. But this guy says, yeah, in America, there's too many churches. And so people just bounce around and really don't learn to love each other and work together like I believe probably Christ would have us do.
Yeah. Yeah, that is that is so true. And we are here in West Michigan where there's no shortage of churches. And
You
some
think?
some call it the Bible Belt of the North. There's just a church that's quite often, and it's an unfortunate reality that so many of them are a result of conflict and people going their own way. And yeah, there is something absolutely beautiful, and I believe that makes the heart of God smile when his kids learn to get along. And he's not asking us to all think the same way. He's asking us to love one another and to um, look out for one another, and that is a reflection of his kingdom. And we get to participate that here and now if we're willing to do that. So yeah, what a great reminder. and and I've got loads and loads of Awana stories myself, both as a volunteer over the years, as working alongside of you as well, but also taking my two kids to Awana. That's a great program. Just plant those seeds
Hey,
early.
and it was a blessing to me to know that it was because of an Awana program and an Awana leader that sat down and led my grandson, your son, to
Mhm.
the Lord. Yeah. So it's a great program. I
Yep.
highly endorse it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, let's put it in park here and we'll pick it up again next week.